So what you're gonna want to do is go to this right top hand corner here and lift up a little bit, and then it should come off easily, as you see here. So that's how you take off the top cover. Okay, so the hard drive is located right here under this metal plate here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Phillips screwdriver and we're gonna undo this screw right here. That's gonna allow us to pull the hard drive tray right out. Okay, so we're gonna have to remove the hard drive from this tray by removing these 4 screws. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove these 4 screws here. Now this side. Okay, once all 4 screws are removed, you're going to want to go ahead and pull the drive out, just like this. So I did want to point out one thing. Notice that the new solid state drive is much thinner than the old hard drive. This means that it's going to float a little bit on the tray, but that's okay. There's no moving parts in here, so it shouldn't matter. So what you want to do is put the top of the drive facing down onto the tray, and these ports are going to be sticking out on this side. So just like this. Okay, so when you're done, it should look like this. So there is a gap between the bottom of the tray and the drive. No worries, it'll be just fine. So the bottom of the drive should be showing, and then the port should be on this side. And then what you're gonna do is flip it over just like this. Okay, so once it's flipped over like this bottom piece here where you're gonna screw it on should be on the right side. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stick it back in the tray. Should slide right in. There we go. So if it doesn't go in all the way, you don't see this screw hole here, that means maybe you put the drive backwards. So just make sure it goes in. Should go in smoothly, as you saw when I did it. Finally, you're gonna put this screw back in there. So now to finish out the installation of the new drive, we're gonna want to put the cover back. So you're gonna wanna place the cover right around here. You're gonna wanna slide this left side in first. Okay, but we're not done yet. We're gonna have to get our flash drive and get on our computer and download the latest PlayStation 4 firmware software onto this flash drive so that we can restore it on the new drive that we just installed on the PS4. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so what you're going to want to do first is open up your favorite web browser and go to the website you see here on top. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link down to this website down in the description below, so you can just go ahead and click on that there and it'll take you to this page. And this page is going to tell you the steps you're going to need to prepare your flash drive so that you can load the latest firmware to your PlayStation 4 on the new drive that you just installed. So looking through the steps here, you're going to need a USB flash drive with at least 1 GB of free space. Next, you're going to want to insert the USB flash drive onto your computer, and you're going to want to create a folder called PS4 right in the root of the drive. So it needs to be capital. So capital P, capital S, then the number 4. Now you're going to go inside of that folder and create another folder called update, and again that needs to be capitals. Then you're going to proceed to download the update file. Once you've saved the file, make sure it's named PS4 update.pup, and it also should be capitalized. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do that ourselves. We're going to go ahead and plug in our USB flash drive onto our computer. Okay, so once I inserted the flash drive, you should go to that drive letter, and for me it's going to be the D drive. So as you can see, I already have some files here. No worries, just go ahead and create that PS4 folder, and remember it needs to be capitalized. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and double click to go in that folder. Now you're going to create a second folder called update, and it should be capitalized as well. Okay, so we're going to want to go into this update folder, and this is where we're going to save our PS4 update.pup file. So go ahead and go on this website and click here to download now. So as you can see, it's downloading the file from the PlayStation website. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is copy the file. You just download it over to your flash drive. So just right click on it and hit copy. So now you're going to want to go to your flash drive letter, then your PS4 folder, and then inside of your update folder, you're going to go ahead and paste the file. Okay, now that the file is copied onto your flash drive, you're going to want to go ahead and eject your flash drive, and then you're going to take it over to your PlayStation 4 and plug it into one of the front USB ports. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now let's go to the next step, which is plugging in your PlayStation 4 back and plug it into your monitor. You're going to take your USB flash drive that has the PlayStation 4 firmware software on it, and you're going to plug it into one of the front USB ports on the PlayStation 4. Make sure that the PlayStation 4 is not on yet. Make sure everything's off. You're also going to need the micro USB cable that came with your controller. You're going to need to do this part with the controller plugged into the PS4 through the wire. So go ahead and take your controller, plug in the micro USB side to the controller back here, and then you're going to plug in the full-size USB. Okay, so once you have your PlayStation 4 controller plugged in with the wire and the USB plugged in, go ahead and power on your PlayStation 4. So now we see our PlayStation 4 booting up with the new solid state drive in there. So it's going to give you this message that it cannot start the PS4. Okay, so now you're going to want to press the PS button on your PlayStation 4 controller. Okay, so now you should be in safe mode, as you can see here. So it's going to ask you to connect a USB flash drive that contains version 5.50 or later of the PlayStation 4 firmware. So since we have our flash drive with the firmware in there, we're going to go ahead and go to OK. In order to do that, you can't use the analog sticks. You're going to have to use the arrows. So you're going to want to use the right arrow to go to the right and go ahead and hit X for OK. So you're going to have to wait a few moments while it installs the firmware from the flash drive. So you can take a small break now while it does this. Okay, so it's going to give you a warning here saying that all the data on the drive will be erased. Do you want to go ahead and continue? Since there's nothing on the drive, since it's brand new, we're going to go ahead and go to yes. And again, you have to use these arrows here, then click X. And it's going to say initializing, and you won't want to turn off your PS4 at this point. Okay, so it's going to go through a few steps to load the firmware on the new drive. Okay, so as you can see here, it is installing the firmware on the new drive right now. Okay, so once you get to this point, you're going to want to go ahead and get your wired controller and press the PlayStation button. So now that the PlayStation 4 has the firmware software installed, you're going to want to go through and set up your PlayStation 4.